This is Pastor Unpacked. Real talk, real faith, real growth. Let's break down life with Jesus. Come on, church, let's unpack it.
Missing the moment. Is Christian radio doing enough? So hello, I'm Pastor Bob McCabe, again from Wadsworth Church of Nazarene, and I got a special guest with me today, Aaron McVeigh.
Hello, good morning.
And we are talking about Christian music, Christian radio, and how we deal with it in our lives. We're about the same age. How old are you, Aaron?
44.
He's 44, I'm 46, so we're right there in the same age group. And so ever since I've known you now for a year, and so every time we talk, we're talking about music from back in our time, and so we always, I say this is a big fun topic to talk about with music. And so first I just want to say that we both love Christian music. We love music, and it's an important part of our lives because it's about the message, what we're hearing. And because the world knows how to deliver its message, and I believe in the Christian music they know how to deliver the message as well. But it seems like there could be more to the message, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But Aaron, how's music impacted your life?
It's been a big part of my life. I grew up in a household we listen to music constantly. I have a lot of memories of going to church, and the gospel music was always a big part of that. I remember the church that we attended growing up, there was, even on Sunday evenings, there was a time set aside for coming back to the church for an hour and singing, hymn songs for an hour. And then obviously during the church service earlier in the day, we did that. So it was a big part. In my teen years, I got involved with music, playing instruments. I started off learning how to play the drums, and then after that, I gravitated towards guitar, and I've continued to do that to this day. I mean, it's been a long time, over 20 years, of doing that kind of stuff. So it's been a big part of my life. It's one of the things that I really love to spend my time with.
Mm. Yeah. Mine's kind of the opposite. Meaning I didn't grow up in the church, so music was different for me. I didn't play any instruments growing up, but I was the dancer. Like somebody's got to play the music, but somebody's got to dance to it. And so my family, we grew up dancing. So 50s, 60s music. My parents would take me to sports bars with them, and I'd be dancing with them at 3 o'clock in the morning at 5 years old. So like, my parents enjoyed music, and so music was just always a place of having a good time. Mm-hmm. And so when I became a Christian at 15, and especially in Morgantown, West Virginia, there was not one single Christian store. And so I had no idea about Christian music. I had no idea that it even existed. All I knew was my world of 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, just, and so so that was part of my life. And then a friend of mine in the youth group one day gave me a cassette tape. I said, "Hey man, listen to this," and it was Guardian. I remember Guardian.
Oh yeah,
and
Guardian,
Swing, Swing, Swung was the album, and I have that on my phone. I have that album on my phone now. But it was the first time I heard a Christian song outside of worship music in church, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And so, but that's all I had because I couldn't find anywhere else. But then I got introduced to DC Talk and stuff as a group, but it still wasn't a good place to go investigate for myself music that was out there. I had to trust in.
Yeah, that was before the internet.
Yeah,
and
so as I was hearing that, and I go to college. So I go to college pretty raw. Like I go to High Point, North Carolina, my freshman year was disco ball in the ceiling, curtains, disco curtains. Strobe lights, and then just the music I listened to, the 50s, 60s, 70s, because that's all I had. That's all I knew. But in High Point, North Carolina, there was Christian stores everywhere.
Yeah.
And so on Fridays, I would go buy a CD every Friday. And it started to change me. I started enjoying it. There was another way to enjoy life, was enjoy the message with the fun beat. And but even in high school, I was struggling with music because it was I leaned on it for my comfort. And now my life has changed, so now my leanings should be towards the Lord and not towards secular music to create an outlet for me. And so I began to, because here was my problem. Here was my problem with music was, still to this day, I'll hear music playing when nobody else will. What's surprising about this place where we're doing a podcast? There's no music. Every time I walk up here to talk to them, there's no music playing. I said, man, how can they do it? No music in the background. It's just dead quiet. But I would go to the mall. If I went to the mall, there's always music playing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And different every business has music playing.
Yep.
And I was so gravitating toward music as my comfort that if I heard a song, on the intercom, and I didn't have it and I liked it, I said, oh, I got to get it. I got to find it. So, I would go, me and my wife would go to movies, and I'm like, oh man, it's a great soundtrack. I was like, I got to get that soundtrack. I love movie soundtracks,
Yep.
And that's when I started realizing, man, I got a problem. I don't need this stuff. Why am I so? And so I had to. So finally, I had to. And this was right before I met Christy. Is when I made this decision. I literally took 2 years off from secular music. Didn't listen to it at all. And if it was playing somewhere, I left.
Oh, wow.
I was intentionally avoiding it. Not because it's necessarily wrong. It was a personal conviction that I wanted to be free from it, to where I didn't live for it, and I got to have it. And so, and I didn't put a time frame on it. It wasn't like I'm doing this for. I was just doing it to. I don't know what my plan was, but I was like, I'll listen to it because I was
cold turkey. Just wanted to stop.
But I was filling myself with. I'm still buying Christian music all over the place, so I'm just listening to it, all these different sounds, and then I don't know when it happened, but it was around 2 years later that I don't know if I walked in somewhere and I heard music and I was like, I'm okay now. I don't got to go buy that song, And so to this day, I listen to everything, but it doesn't own me.
Okay.
And I guess here's when I come to Christian radio, my issue with Christian radio right now. And we talked yesterday about it, and what's surprising me is not much has changed in 30 years as we got done talking, because I brought all these CDs that I've had these CDs for 30 years, right? All these Christian songs, and none of these CDs here you would never heard on the radio. And this was 30 years ago. They wouldn't play these songs, and so it hasn't changed, because these songs here have stories and testimonies, different sounds, right? And it seems like Christian radio plays it safe, and they've always played it safe, leaning towards the worship side and not giving us the full gander to say, oh man, go listen to this, because people say, oh, it's too heavy. You shouldn't be playing that,
Yeah. So do you think a big part of that then, the playing safe, Do you think that's motivated by a sense of not overwhelming the listener, in terms of if we have song content that is, maybe for lack of a better word, overtly Christian,
Yeah.
that may put some listeners off?
No, well, I don't think so. I don't even think it's about the listener. Okay. I think it's about the label.
Okay.
Because the label pushes 1 or 2 songs on an album, and that's it. You never hear the whole album.
Yeah.
But then if they would think about it, they could just easily just sprinkle it in different kind of groups, because even back then, the big names, DC Talk, Jars of Clay, all them guys that were in my heyday, they were barely on the radio.
Yeah.
Because their sound was heavier and upbeat and rock and roll sound, and the radio was like...
Yeah. It almost felt like they were, the companies, the record labels were just giving you a taste. They were testing the market.
Yeah.
Let's put one song out, see how it's received, and if it is received well, then maybe we'll follow it up with something else. But it didn't seem to catch on like that.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it was, they introduced it and then it was gone.
Yeah. Because it seems like, because for me personally, how I had to be set free from secular music, if I just would have focused on radio music, I wouldn't have made it. Because we talked about it yesterday. Sometimes we need songs where we're driving down the road, we can have our windows down and blast it and have a good time. And praise and worship wasn't made for that. And so having songs with some beat and some people letting go and talking about life, and so there's music out there, there's Christian music out there, but you just got to work harder to find it. And
I always felt that the Christian contemporary music, I guess CCM for short, I guess, I've always felt that scene was always 1 or 2 steps behind the secular. And because of that, I always felt like, in terms of the quality that was being produced, it was always just one rung lower. And because of that, I never really gravitated towards the Christian music scene. Even though I grew up in the church, I was exposed to it. It wasn't my preferred taste.
Yeah. But I think right now they're all equal.
Yes, I think I agree. I think it's come a long way for sure.
And it's just a matter of, and I guess it's still the problem today is finding it. I guess it's easier to find, but I guess, how you grow up, life changes, right? And so when I want to listen to music, I just pull these CDs out,
Yeah, most of my,
so the little bit taste I get is from my kids, because they listen to Christian music, and especially my oldest son, Ethan. He's got a different sound he likes, and it's nothing you hear on the radio. So he's found Christian artists that you never hear on it, but it's more like he likes chill music.
Yeah.
Just sit there, I'm trying, when we travel, we fighting over music, when we travel. I mean, he wants to listen to this slow stuff. I'm like, man, you trying to put me, I'm driving. You trying to put me to sleep? He's like, what, Daddy? This is good. I'm like, man, I need something. You need to.
Something with a little energy, something to keep you up, something to keep you awake while you're driving. Yeah.
But I'm thankful, with my kids, my older kids, I'm thankful that they've embraced Christian music. I've never foretold them. I've never said no, told them no to anything music-wise. And like Shelby, every time she gets in my truck, if I don't have it on the Christian station, the first thing she does as soon as she gets in the truck and hits the message, puts it on the message. And I love it. I love seeing that.
Yeah.
Because it tells me what they want to hear. It shows me their heart. Like, all right, they're.
Yeah, my wife, she's been pretty instrumental of introducing our kids to Christian music. Like I said, I didn't really have much of a background in it. I mean, even I can only name maybe 2 or 3 contemporary Christian artists that are in the scene right now. I know a lot more back from the 80s and 90s than I do from today. But my kids, like you said, it's nice to see them singing songs or reciting lyrics from songs that are Christian.
And like Bailey, my 11-year-old, she's just like me when it comes to music. Like, she loves everything I love, so like I have to be careful. And remember, she's 11 years old. Like, but I got to let her figure it out as well. But like, I know she loves Forrest Frank.
Forrest Frank is a big one right now. He's a big one.
And the reason she loves Forrest Frank is she loves the beat. She loves the up-tempo, got a different sound to it. And I'm the same way, so I'm in the car with her like, it's a driving down the road, right? You know, roll the window down and talk about having a good day. Let's have a good day.
There's a positivity that goes along with a lot of the contemporary Christian music that is very attractive.
Yeah.
There's a positivity that it has, which a lot of secular music is not that way. It's very negative. So I can see the attraction.
But I want to read a verse to you, and it's a verse that I always have to bring up with churches, because for a long time churches didn't like contemporary Christian music, right? Didn't like praise and worship and hymnals, and that's it, you know.
Traditional, very traditional.
But that's not God's traditional way. Scripture doesn't say it. Here's what He says, and I love it. And you can't fight it. You can't come up with an argument against it. And it's Colossians 3:15-17. He says, "Let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to which also you were called in one body, and be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing." And admonishing means to instruct or advise. So, instruct or advise one another in psalms and hymns, spiritual songs, and singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. So we got 4 different ways we're supposed to sing.
Yep.
And the Psalms to me the Psalms is the praise and worship, because the prayers, a lot of songs today come from Psalms.
Yep.
They take the songs and they rework it. And create in me a clean heart, all those.
Renew a right spirit in me, yep.
And then we got the hymnals, and the hymnals are for teaching and for giving us theology and giving us really hymnals. If you look at hymnals today, a lot of it was their stories of their time, what they were going through. That's why some hymnals I don't relate to, because I wasn't in the 40s. I don't know that life.
Well, like we mentioned yesterday during our conversation, we talked about the story behind the song "Amazing Grace." And what the writer went through with his family. Absolutely right.
And then we got spiritual songs, and to me, spiritual songs is all these. Just creativity about Jesus. And so that has its way in our lives. And then just singing. So just like sing. Whatever you want to do, sing. We need all of that. We need all of it in our lives to get all we can get from the Lord. And
the music is a gift. It's a gift. There's a band right now. It's a hard rock band called Theocracy, and one of their songs, I think it's titled "The Gift of Music." And the song is about how music is a gift from God and how He gives it to us so that we could give it back to Him.
And think about how music will change people. People that stutter can sing. Like, there's that one singer, big Christian artist right now. He does a lot of acoustic stuff on the message. Like, he gets with artists. He's an artist, and he gets with other artists, and they sit around and they sing, but he stutters. So when he's talking, he's stuttering a lot. But when he sings,
it's perfect.
No stutter.
No stuttering.
No stutter at all. But it just shows music is built different in us. Our vocals change. A lot of times, like watching American Idol, and your talking voice will not be nowhere near your singing voice.
Yes,
and it messes with people.
That is interesting how that happens.
It's like, how do you explain that? Or to me, it's just, it comes from a different place, singing. And or embracing music. It talks about, I've heard different things where music opens up your full brain to where you receive things differently when you listen to music. For me, like, I got to have music on when I'm studying, when I'm doing research. I got to have background music because it helps me focus.
So I use it a little bit from teaching, my background in teaching. I use music a little bit like white noise, kind of similar.
Yeah. So like it's I got another verse here, Psalm 33, just another way, because even I know there was a time in church when they didn't believe in instruments.
Some churches still don't. Some churches still don't.
Psalm 33 says this: "Rejoice in the Lord, O righteous, for praise Him from the upright is beautiful. Praise the Lord with the harp. Make melody to Him with an instrument of 10 strings. Sing to Him a new song. Play skillfully with a shout of joy." So I'm like, come on, right?
Yep. Yeah, the instrument is just the tool to help express that inner desire for the music. It's just the tool.
But I think what it is people just uncomfortable with what music does to you. Like we're just talking about now, how it changes you. Like it changes your voice. It hits you differently. But that's what the Lord does to us, right? He hits us differently. He makes us be uncomfortable, and so like He uses all that stuff. But I remember the day that the Lord showed me I needed to fix what I was listening to. I mean, I know the song. I
think you told me the story once. Do we want to disclose the song?
Yes, because people need to hear it. I was working in a furniture factory in college, and so it's loud, running machines. So I got headphones on, and I'm running this machine, drilling holes in these blocks. This container. That's all I did, is just drilling holes in blocks all day. And Guns N' Roses song came on, Paradise City. And I'm sitting there working, and I'm hearing it. Because a lot of times I didn't listen to the lyrics. I listened to the beat.
Correct. The music, the melody.
The melody was just,
lyrics,
okay, it might have
secondary.
a catchphrase that I catch, but I'm like, I'm not listening to the verse.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the Lord opened my ears, and I heard the song for the first time. And I was like, man, I got a problem. This song is terrible. The meaning behind the song is not good. Yeah. And that's where they get slick. They get slick with what you think it means one thing and it means another. And that's what happened to me. Was like, I thought it meant something else and not what. And I was like, oh, and that's when I had to. Yeah. I said, I gotta stop. I gotta make a change because I would know what I was wanting to do with my life as a pastor, and I wanted to have good things in my life and to grow. And it was just part of me growing. I'm an 18-year-old, this 18-year-old kid making this decision.
Yeah, and that would have been hard. That would have been very hard at that age.
And so that was the moment that I said, all right, I gotta. And I'm so glad I did, because that decision has impacted my kids. I remember I was in my senior year. I tried to throw all my music away before I even got to school. But it was all oldies and stuff, and my dad poured it all out. He said, don't throw that away. He poured it all out of the garbage.
I paid for those. What are you doing?
And so it was just funny how, like, different stages of my life, how that's happened. But
I went through a phase like that. I went through a phase where I had a bunch of music that I just felt wasn't edifying.
Yeah.
And I did purge a lot of it. I got rid of a bunch of it. I still have some things that in my collection of hard rock, metal, that I've been involved in for a long time. I still have a few things there that don't necessarily have an overtly Christian message behind it. Yeah. But like you said, the lyrical content kind of takes a back seat to what I'm really interested in, which was the music itself, the listening to the instruments, because that's my background comes from that. I've learned to play drums and guitar primarily to be able to duplicate what I was listening to on the songs. Yeah. So, but I totally understand that, and I could see where it could be a stumbling block for a lot of people. Having a lot of the secular music could be a big distraction, and it could be a stumbling block for your walk. Yeah. So it would make sense.
Yeah, except for me, that was my biggest stumbling block, because I didn't drink, didn't cuss, didn't do drugs, didn't party, didn't want all that stuff. I just had fun with music. And so the Lord just wanted to bring balance to my life. I said, all right, I want to use this